somebody else is pinned. Sorry about that. There we go. There you are. Perfect. So just first coming to whichever foot feels comfortable, just take it out in front. And then you're going to take your top thumb, or whichever thumb, left or right on top, so that you can stack your thumbs so that they're kind of protecting one another. And then you're going to begin just at the base of the ball of the toe and just kind of press gently in and release. Press and release along the edge or arch of your foot. And you're going to do just 3 little rounds of that, just pressing and releasing, pressing and releasing. If there is a point that feels particularly tender or interesting even, you could just hold and stay for a little while to see if it releases. It might be that there just is an even sense of tonality throughout the length of the arch. Sometimes there's a little point of tension. That's once you've done like 2 or 3 of those, you're going to take hold of your foot around the arch, sort of like this. So the thumbs will be on one side and the fingers will be on the other side. And we're just going to wring out the foot. So you're sort of twisting with one hand and then pulling it back with the other. So again, we're kind of wringing out the muscles through the foot, through the arch. Gently back and forth. Yeah, nice. Just doing a couple of those. And then turning the foot over, we're going to bring our attention to our toes now. So we're going to give them 3 little twists in one direction, and then a little pull, and then 3 little twists in another direction, and then a little pull. And you can do the same on each foot. Let me know how loud it is. I have the window open, but I'm quite near the road, so if you feel like it gets a bit loud with traffic, let me know as well. So there's a few joints in your toe. So your big toe has 2 joints and your small toes have generally 3 little joints. So you could even feel for the joints and give a little pull at the toe joint. So gently, a little circle and few circles in one direction, then a pull, few circles in the other direction, a little pull. And just be kind of curious about, how your feet are feeling and moving. Good. And then we're going to take that same foot, so we're just working on this foot for the moment, and just cross it over the top of your other leg. So it's like a little support for it. And then you'll intertwine your fingers through each toe. So you've like gripped around, yeah? And then you can just begin by gently stretching sort of the toes and then drawing the toes towards you. So stretching them away and bringing them towards you. Stretching away and bringing them towards. Yeah, just a couple of times like that. Good. And then we're going to make rotations into the ankle. So just go nice and slow. Allow the hand to really do the work. So the foot just gets really soft and you're just allowing the hand to work the foot through those ranges of movement there. Great. And then go in the opposite way. Excellent. Okay, and then you'll just gently slide the fingertips out from the toes. You give them a little stretch as well, so it can feel quite nice. And then we'll stay on the same leg. So come onto the heel of that leg, and then with your fingertips, find that center sort of bony part of your shin, and then bring your fingers slightly towards the outside edge of your leg, so towards the pinky toe side of your foot. And then you're going to gently press into that muscle and then point the toes away and lift up. So move down, point the toes away, lift up, release, press in and down, toes point away, lift up, release, move down, point the toes away, release, and we'll do that all the way to the bottom. So pressure goes in and down as you stretch the toes away, and then release as it comes up. Good. And this muscle can also get quite tight from walking. Good. Running. And gently all the way to the bottom. Good. Okay. Once you've reached the end then, the same thing we did with the thumbs, so one stacked on top of the other to protect. You're going to take that to the back of your calf muscle. Yeah, so we're going to work down the center of the calf muscle. So again, just lifting onto the heel, pressing in and release, press in and down, press in and release, press in and release, down. All the way to the bottom. Lovely. Okay. So once you reach the bottom, then just have a little sort of feel. Just maybe notice how there's a greater sense of connection now, sensory connection into that foot, perhaps. And then we'll start all that again on the other side. So come to a comfortable position to begin. And we'll begin on the inner arch of that opposite foot. So thumb over thumb, gently pressing in and release, in and down and release. We'll do 3 of those. Taking your time, breathing naturally, no specific breath pattern other than coming into that kind of deeper, slower belly breath. Nice. Just giving your feet a little bit of attention and love. So remember, you can stay in pause anywhere that feels particularly nice to give attention to. Good. And then once you've finished your 3rd round, we'll take the ringing of the foot. So hands come over the top of the foot, thumbs are to the sole of the foot, and then you're just ringing the foot. So you're pulling back on one hand, giving a little stretch, and then forward on the other. So back and forth. You're getting a little rotation through the foot. Good. Okay, and then gently release. We're going to work the toes now. So you could start with the big toe, little circles in one direction, and then a little pull, then a few circles in the opposite direction, and another little pull. Just thinking about creating space for the joint. So again, next little toe, little circles and a pull. Other side, little circles and a pull. All the way to the little toe. Good. Okay. So once you've got all the way down to that 5th toe, we'll take the foot to cross over the top of the opposite ankle. And so we'll begin by just threading the fingers through each little toe. So this will feel easier or harder for some. It's probably not something you do every day. So it's actually really nice just to stretch out the toes as well. So first we'll press away. So you're getting a little stretch through the toe and then pull it towards you. Press away, towards, away, and towards. Yeah, just a couple of rounds like that. Good. And then we'll take it into little rotations of the foot. And again, try to have it so that the ankle is really quite relaxed, yeah? So it's just a hand, assisting the range of movement of that ankle joint. Nice. Make sure you go in the opposite direction as well. Excellent. Okay, then gently release the toes, and we'll come onto the sole of the foot. I find it kind of comfortable to support my body by bending my knee, but see how you feel. And then we'll begin by finding that bony part of the shin, right? And then moving out towards the outside edge of the leg. Lift onto the heel, press in and down, and then stretch the toe away. Lift up, press in and down, lift up, press in and down, lift up, press in and down, all the way to the bottom. Good. You might find one side is tighter than the other. Once you get to the bottom, we'll do the calf muscle. So thumb over thumb, bringing them to the back of the leg. And again, press in and down and away. In and down and away. So find that muscle activated as you lift the toes. Press in and down. Good. And again, you know, some calves are going to feel a little bit more tender than others. So just kind of gauging how much pressure you use, yeah. Nice. Beautiful. Okay. Once you've finished that, you can just take a moment again just to feel now how both legs maybe feel like a little bit more activated or cared for. Okay. Find your block or your book, and you're going to just take that to the back of your mat. So it's going to be a little bit of a headrest. From there, just coming down onto your elbows, and then all the way down so that you can rest the back of your head so that your base of the skull feels supported. Now, if you have a block, you could choose to come up onto the higher edge, and that'll just give you a little bit more tractioning through the neck, yeah? And then we're going to very, very slowly roll the head over towards the left-hand side. So you're, with your brick or your book, going to feel like a gentle bit of pressure along the rim of the skull, and just go really slow. Eyes open or eyes closed. Just do a few rounds just like that. And whenever you feel ready, you can just pause and stay in the center for a little bit. Eyes closing, shoulders relaxing. Knees can be bent or legs extended, whatever feels right for you. We're gently lengthening the back of the neck here. Okay, taking just a few more rounds of breath here. And then gently just taking your hands to take hold of whatever's supporting your head, and then allow the head to rest down to the earth. And just feeling that connection of your head back down to the ground. Okay, so if the knees are not bent already, just bend them. And we're just going to do a little inner thigh stretch here. So take the feet out as wide as your mat, knees pointing up, and then very slowly allow your right knee to drop over to the right hand side, just really slow. There'll come a point where you feel as though the right knee is trying to pull the left knee over with it, and then just allow that to happen so that both knees start to drop to the right. But allow it to happen kind of organically, as though the right knee was leading the action. And then we'll go to the other side. So first the left knee moves up, and you feel a point where it just naturally starts to draw the right knee up with it. And then it moves to the other side. And again, first the left knee moves out to the side and brings the right knee with it. Just really slow, becoming super observant to the sensations through the inner thighs. Beautiful. Just do a few more rounds, just gently back and forth. And then the next time you arrive in the center, just pausing, roll yourself over to your side and gently press up to seated. Good. Okay, so we're going to work on sort of opening the chest in this next one. So if you have a block, great. If you don't have a block, I'm going to suggest you use a blanket that will fold up into quite a firm sort of little sausage shape, yeah? And that's going to support the mid upper back, like so. So the two options, one with the little sausage roll blanket, it might be low enough that you can just allow your head to rest onto the ground behind it, but you may need a little support if you feel like your chin is really lifted towards the sky. And then the second variation with the block supporting the upper back space, that block is going to really support this kind of upper back section, yeah? And in that case, you might want something like the support of a blanket or another block to support your head. So we'll begin on the elbows. And then from there, you can position that block or blanket so that it's exactly where you need it to be. And you may need to shift or change, as you come down and you feel what feels right. Yeah. And then with the blanket, so actually quite a long drop. So if you need that little extra support from a block or two blankets or a cushion, you might go for that because it's quite opening for the chest, but also gets into that upper back space that tends to be a little bit curved as we're working over our desks. It's asking a lot in the opposite direction. Good. And then from there, see if you can soften through the fronts of the shoulders a little bit more. See if you need to adjust or change anything about your leg position to make you feel more supported. Just gently watching your breath as it moves in and out here. Making this a meditative practice. Okay. Very slowly. You might want to think about bending your knees. And you could lift up onto your elbows, just enough so you can slide whatever support you've used out from underneath you. Moving the support for the head away as well, so that you can just take a few moments just resting flat onto the ground. So that we're not in a rush, to get to the next thing. Just feeling into the residue of sensation from the support of your props. Okay, so when you're ready, just gently ease yourself up to a comfortable seat. Good. Okay, so for this one, we'll need something like a bolster, and you're going to place it horizontally along your mat. It might be nice to have that little blanket as a little support at the top of your bolster as well. And then you will need either a block or a book. And this is going to go in between the thighs. Yeah. So you're going to let's sit to the right side just for ease of instruction. And I find it quite nice to sort of hook my bottom foot around the top of my top foot, but it might be that you feel better with the feet stacked. Just see what feels nice. And then the block is, quite high up, so don't be shy. And then you're going to turn your torso to face the bolster. Yeah, it's as though you're trying to angle the belly button down in the direction of the bolster. And then you could come down onto your forearms. It's a twist. Yeah, going forward, and then resting the chest onto the bolster. And then from there, place just the forehead onto the blanket so that you can breathe with your nose and your mouth. Yeah. Feeling that contact between the side hip, doing this beautiful kind of revolving action through the torso. Breathing deep into the belly. slowly, just taking your last couple of breaths here. And we're going to transition into lying onto our belly. So just take your block or whatever it is out to behind you. So it'll be there for when we turn to the other side. And then you'll just roll yourself all the way over so that your rib cage is supported by either the bolster or whatever you have as a support. It might be here that you need to lift your blanket a little bit higher, so maybe double it up. Or it could be useful to have your block to bring that a little bit higher. And the arms will be out in front, so it's like a supported sphinx pose. And then you can rest the forehead again here, just down. There's a really lovely kind of relaxing quality to have that little bit of pressure into the center of the forehead, sort of third eye space or frontal cortex. And again, just really adjusting here till you feel very supported and comfortable. And there's this sense that you can breathe a little bit more into your back lungs so that the lungs take up a little bit more space on the back body, in fact. Breathing right into the very bottom of your lungs. Until you feel that slight stretch across the back body. Nice and gently, just raising your head, patting into the ground so that you can lift yourself. up onto your elbows. And you might take a little stretch away. So sinking back, hips towards heels, kind of resting into a child's pose for a moment, just to stretch out the back. Releasing the head, the neck. And then gently coming all the way back up. So we'll set up for the other side. I'm just turning around so I can see you still. So have your blanket as your little pillow for your head. Bring your block or your book up and in between the thighs. Choose how you'd like to place your feet. And then sort of bring the hands just over the bolster, rotating belly button towards that bolster and coming all the way down. Resting the forehead. Relaxing the shoulders. Finding that twist. Good. Looks good. Taking your last few breaths here. And this time, you'll just gently lift and allow yourself to de-rotate from the twist just by coming up to seated. Good. Okay. So this time we're going to take the bolster down towards the feet. Bolster or cushion. I'm going to give you a couple options here, so it'll kind of depend on the width of your whatever you've got to use. You could take your ankles to cross one of the others. I'll show you what I'm doing from this angle. So it's like Sukhasana with elevated feet. Or you could take the soles of the feet together and allow the knees to drop wide. So it's like an elevated Supta Baddha Konasana. And we're going to do that from lying down. So if you like, you might have a pillow. I find it quite nice to be more neutral with the neck, unless you find that your chin is dropping back quite a lot. So coming to lying down, and then either soles of the feet together, so it's a little bit of an inversion, or one ankle gently crossing over the top. And I'll let you know kind of halfway if you are crossing one ankle over the top to just change the crossing so there's balance. The arms might rest by the sides. Allow your head to gently lull from one side to the other, so you just feel a nice sense of release through the neck, softness through the shoulders, the hands. Deep and full breaths into the belly. Allowing the benefits of this gentle inversion to just naturally happen through gravity, through time, and through deepening your breath. So if you have one ankle crossed over the top of the other, just change the crossing just for balance. Nice and slowly. And just start to sort of slide the legs over the bolster or cushion so that you still have support for the knees. So you might need to adjust it a little bit. Adjust your hips, your shoulders, the back of the neck. Allow the palms to be facing up or maybe resting onto your body. We'll take just a few moments here in our supported Shavasana for total rest, no effort. Allowing the breath to become just a little bit less and less. I found this beautiful little reading by David White. It's on beauty. Beauty especially occurs in the meeting of time with the timeless, the passing moment framed by what has happened and what is about to occur. The scattering of the first spring apple blossom, the turning, spiraling flight of a curled leaf in a falling light, the smoothing of white sun-filled sheets by careful hands setting them to air on a line, the broad expanse of cotton filled by the breeze only for a moment, the sheets sailing into dryness, billowing toward a future that is always beckoning, always just beyond us. Beauty is the harvest of presence. Gently now, beginning to bring a little bit of movement back. Maybe a little wiggle or a stretch. Slowly finding your way to your side. Unless you would prefer to stay as you are, as you're in your own home, you can take your time. Otherwise, we're going to slowly come up to a comfortable seat. We'll gently bring the hands to touch in front of the chest, bringing that thumb right into your breastbone. Allow your head to lightly bow in the direction of your heart, your own inner teacher. And then we bow forward as a symbol of gratitude, honor, and respect that we offer outwards towards one another. You bring the thumbs to the forehead in hopes that yoga will bring us clarity of thought. Thumbs to the lips so that we have clarity and truth of speech. And into the heart so that our compassion radiates outwards, far and wide. Thank you so much.